These hotel little choices can turn into fees, lost items, and ruined nights. Here's how to dodge them. Today, 33 dumbest things people did at a hotel and instantly regretted. You'll hear bacon on an iron chaos, plus a passport trapped in a safe. Stay for number 33, because the pet surprise fee can be brutal. Let's start with a breakfast idea that turned a room into smoke. Tried to fry bacon using the room iron. The room smelled like burned grease, and the iron was ruined instantly. At a budget hotel near Las Vegas, a guest craved breakfast badly. He saw the clothes iron, figured metal gets hot, and smiled. He wrapped bacon in foil, but the fat leaked down the vents. Within minutes, smoke curled out, and the hallway alarm started screaming. The night manager knocked, then opened to a greasy science experiment. Housekeeping later found blackened streaks on the board and carpeted floor. At checkout, the front desk added cleaning charges and a replacement fee. Breakfast cost more than brunch on the strip, and he knew. 2. Opened the wrong door and found a stranger inside. He apologized to a stranger, but the security report still followed. In a Miami Beach high-rise, 2 identical hallways fooled him after drinks. His key card beeped green because the latch never fully caught earlier. He pushed in, expecting his suitcase, and saw a family watching TV. For 1 second, everyone froze, like a bad pause in reality. The dad shouted, the mom grabbed the phone, and the kids yelled. Downstairs, the front desk reprogrammed his card and flagged his name. He spent the night in a new room, replaying that doorway moment. The next morning, he walked the halls slowly, reading every number twice. 3. Booked the same city name in the wrong country. The boarding pass said Sydney, but he landed in Canada, not Australia. He booked fast during a sale, seeing Sydney and clicking without thinking. Only in the air did he notice the airport code was YQY. Sydney, Nova Scotia welcomed him with snowbanks, not the Opera House. At arrivals, an airline agent stared, then gently asked his final destination. He called his friend in New South Wales, and silence filled the line. Rebooking meant extra nights, extra fees, and a cramped overnight connection. He finally reached Australia days later, already exhausted before the hotel. Now he checks country names first, like reading labels before medicine. 4. Left the balcony door open and invited seagulls in. He returned to feathers everywhere and fries missing from the bag. In Brighton, on England's coast, he cracked the balcony door for air. He set fish and chips on the table, thinking gulls stayed outside. Within minutes, sharp cries hit and white shapes swooped through the gap. One bird landed on the bed, strutting like it paid the deposit. He chased them with a towel, but they pecked and dodged calmly. A neighbor complained, and the hotel staff arrived laughing behind polite faces. They warned about wildlife, then vacuumed crumbs from every corner. He ate dinner downstairs, eyeing the sky like it held grudges. 5. Posted the room number online and got unwanted visitors. By midnight, strangers were knocking, and his phone wouldn't stop buzzing. In Orlando, he filmed a quick hotel tour for his followers. He panned past the door, and the room number sat bright and clear. Comments poured in, some joking, some oddly specific about the hallway. An hour later, the first knock came, asking for a selfie. Then another came, claiming room service, but no cart waited outside. He called the front desk, and security moved him to another floor. Staff reminded him how easily videos travel, even faster than elevators. He deleted the clip, but the screenshot had already taken its souvenir. 6. Tried a hot tub hack and triggered the alarm. The spa suite got shut down, and the night ended with paperwork. At a Scottsdale resort, a couple wanted Instagram phone, not quiet water. They dumped in bath products meant for tubs, plus glittery oils. The jets churned it into a bubble mountain, climbing over the rim. Water hit the floor sensor, and a maintenance alert lit up upstairs. Security arrived, slept once, then called engineering with a tired sigh. They drained the tub, wiped residue, and taped off the whole room. The couple argued it was harmless, but the plumbing looked like soup. Their romantic getaway became a maintenance log, stamped and signed. 7. Mistook the fire sprinkler for a clothes hanger hook. A geyser hit the ceiling, and 3 rooms needed new carpet. In Chicago, a traveler saw the red sprinkler head above the closet. He thought it was a hook and hung a heavy winter coat. The metal snapped, releasing pressurized water designed for real fires. Within seconds, the floor flooded and the hallway turned into a stream. The guest across the hall opened the door and yelped back. Hotel engineers arrived fast, shutting valves while alarms kept shouting. Insurance forms appeared, and the front desk calmly explained sprinkler replacement costs. He watched his coat drip for hours, like a sad waterfall. 8. Took a free towel and got hit with fees. His card was charged later because the towel never came back. At a beachfront hotel in Waikiki, he grabbed a fluffy white towel. He assumed it was a gift, like those tiny shampoos lined up. The next day, he stuffed it into luggage, still damp and sandy. Housekeeping scanned the empty room, checking linen counts for missing items. Many hotels tag towels now, so the loss shows up quickly. Days later, his receipt updated, and a surprise line item appeared. He called to argue, but the supervisor described inventory like a spreadsheet. That towel became the most expensive souvenir he never wanted. 9. Let the kid order movies all night on pay-per-view. The bill arrived with a movie marathon, and the parent went pale. In a Dallas airport hotel, a tired mom handed the remote over. One button said movies, and the kid treated it like a candy jar. He clicked rentals, then new releases, then cartoons, never noticing prices. Each purchase asked for confirmation, and he happily confirmed every time. At 2 a.m., the night auditor called, asking if everything was all right. She woke up, saw the TV menu, and realized the damage. The front desk removed some charges, but not the newest releases. The kids slept peacefully, while the adults stared at the receipt. 10. Used the minibar without checking prices first. A tiny chocolate bar turned into a charge that felt absurdly huge. In Tokyo, a jet-lagged traveler opened the minibar like it was kindness. He grabbed water, then a snack, and set them back later. Some minibars use weight sensors, so lifting an item triggers billing. He learned that at checkout, when the clerk printed the itemized list. He insisted he returned everything, but the system already marked consumption. A manager offered a small adjustment, yet the water still stung. He walked outside, buying a whole bottle for pocket change. Now he treats minibars like museum displays. Look, don't touch. 11. Connected to fake hotel Wi-Fi and lost accounts. His email got hijacked, and recovery codes started vanishing one by one. At a conference hotel in San Francisco, he searched Wi-Fi and connected. The network name matched the lobby sign, so he never questioned it. A login page asked for his email password, pretending it verified guests. Minutes later, he noticed strange sent messages, then a locked account warning. The real front desk explained an evil twin network was nearby. IT helped him reset passwords, but two-factor codes still kept failing. His phone buzzed with bank alerts, like a siren only he heard. 12. Fell for a phone call asking for card details. He gave card numbers to a voice, and the charges began instantly. In London, the phone rang, showing the hotel's main number on screen. The caller claimed to be front desk, saying the system needed verification. He hesitated, but the voice sounded calm, professional, and slightly impatient. He read the card details, then the voice asked for the security code. After hanging up, he mentioned it at reception, and the clerk frowned. They explained scammers' route calls through apps, spoofing numbers like costumes. He froze, called his bank, and watched pending charges stack up. That night, he ignored every ring, letting voicemail take the risk. 13. Hung laundry on the smoke detector and set it off. The building alarm blared, and half the floor stood outside in pajamas. In Seattle during rainy season, he tried drying socks anywhere with warmth. He draped them over the smoke detector, thinking it was just plastic. The hot air from the bathroom steamer rose, trapping heat around it. Some detectors sense heat or particles, and damp fabric can confuse them. The panel in the hallway tripped, and doors thudded open everywhere. Firefighters arrived, checked rooms, and found one man holding guilty socks. Hotel staff reset the system, but charged him for the call-out. He bought a travel drying line later, treating it like survival gear. 14. Smoked in a non-smoking room and paid thousands. The final receipt showed a 4-figure smoking fee, and he argued loudly. In a new Nashville hotel, he thought one cigarette near the window. He used a towel at the door, convinced smoke couldn't possibly escape. But HVAC vents share air, and neighbors smelled it within minutes. A guest complained, and the duty manager came up with a handheld sensor. He denied it, yet the curtains and bedding carried the smell stubbornly. They scheduled ozone treatment, a machine that scrubs odor from fabrics. The room stayed offline, and he paid for lost revenue too. Outside, the designated smoking spot suddenly looked like a bargain. 15. Filled the jacuzzi with bubble bath and flooded below. Water poured into the room below, and a wedding guest lost sleep. At a New Orleans boutique hotel, she booked the suite with a jacuzzi. She added bubble bath, expecting a movie scene, not a plumbing test. The jets whipped foam fast, and she kept topping it up. Then she grabbed her phone, filming, and missed the rising rim. Suddenly, suds slid onto tile, and water followed like a stampede. Engineering rushed in, shut off valves, and hauled wet vacuums upstairs. Downstairs, staff replaced ceiling panels, while guests complained about dripping lights. Her relaxing soak became a small flood with a large bill. 16. Forgot the passport in the room safe after checkout. At the airport, he opened his bag and felt the cold panic hit. In Paris, he used the room safe for his passport and returned cash. Checkout morning was rushed, with espresso, taxis, and a buzzing phone. He grabbed everything visible, but the safe stayed quietly locked behind him. At Charles de Gaulle, the airline agent asked for the passport again. He called the hotel, and the concierge found it during a routine sweep. But shipping it required forms, couriers, and embassy advice he hated hearing. He spent an extra night, pacing by the Seine, waiting for updates. When it arrived, he treated that passport like fragile glass. 17. Left jewelry on the nightstand during housekeeping. She checked out missing earrings, and the complaint form felt powerless. In Los Angeles, she set diamond studs on the nightstand before showering. Housekeeping knocked, she shouted later, and the cart rolled on anyway. When she left for meetings, the Do Not Disturb sign was not up. A room attendant tidied fast, moving items, wiping surfaces, swapping towels. Later, she returned and saw the jewelry box open like a warning. Security reviewed hallway cameras, but inside the room there was nothing. The manager offered lost and found checks, yet the trail went cold quickly. Now she uses the safe and never leaves sparkle in plain sight. 18. Put the Do Not Disturb sign up for 3 days. He woke to pounding because staff thought something terrible had happened. In Las Vegas, he hung the Do Not Disturb sign and disappeared inside. He was gaming, ordering deliveries, and ignoring housekeeping knocks all weekend. After 2 days, staff followed policy and called the room repeatedly. No answer meant a wellness check, usually done with security present. They entered, expecting the worst, and found him asleep with headphones on. He jumped up furious, but the supervisor explained duty of care rules. His food bags lined the room, and the smell answered every question. He took the sign down, suddenly realizing privacy has limits in hotels. 19. Fell asleep with a candle and got evicted. The staff escorted her out at 1 a.m., suitcase half-zipped. At a historic inn in Savannah, she wanted a cozy scented candle glow. She lit it beside the bathtub, then decided to rest her eyes. The flame flickered, catching a paper wrapper, then licking the curtain edge. Smoke rose first, and the detector did its job without any drama. Sprinkles didn't fire, but alarms did, waking the whole corridor fast. The night manager arrived with security, reading the no open flame policy aloud. She pleaded it was small, but the burnt fabric looked serious anyway. Outside, she shivered, watching firefighters pack up like it was routine. 20. Tried to heat soup in the coffee maker reservoir. In Denver, a broke student traveler wanted hot food without leaving. He poured soup into the reservoir, thinking it was just a heater tank. The machine tried brewing, then sputtered, sending salty steam into the air. Brown liquid ran through tiny tubes meant for water, not noodles. Housekeeping found sticky residue, and the supervisor called maintenance immediately. The engineer opened it, grimaced, and said it would never smell normal. The front desk charged replacement, and he ate cold chips afterward. Later he learned microwaves exist downstairs, hidden near the vending machines. 21. Locked the key card in the room wearing only a towel. He stood shivering in the hallway, holding a towel like a flag. At a Phoenix hotel, he stepped out for ice, wearing only sandals. The door clicked shut behind him, and the latch sounded final. His phone and wallet were inside, along with the spare keycard. He tried knocking softly, then loudly, hoping a neighbor might help. A guest peeked out, laughed kindly, and called the front desk for him. Security arrived, asked his name, and requested ID he couldn't reach. He answered verification questions, like a quiz nobody studies for. When they opened the door, he rushed in, promising never again. 22. Propped the door open and let someone walk in. His laptop vanished, and the hotel's camera footage showed a quiet shadow. In Atlanta, he propped the door with a suitcase while grabbing snacks. He thought the hallway was safe because it felt like an office building. A person walked by, noticed the gap, and slipped inside without noise. In less than a minute, they grabbed electronics and a wallet, then left. He returned, saw the bed disturbed, and felt his stomach drop. Security checked keycard logs, but an open door leaves no trail. Police took a report, yet the thief was already somewhere else. He realized a propped door is basically an invitation with no signature. 23. Accepted a free upgrade that was actually a timeshare pitch. The free upgrade cost him a morning, and his patience evaporated. In Orlando, near International Drive, a desk clerk offered a bigger suite. All he had to do was attend a short breakfast presentation, supposedly. He imagined pancakes and polite talk, then leaving with upgraded keys. Instead, a sales rep named Mark started timing him like a marathon. Mark showed glossy renderings, asking why rent when you can own? Every time he said no, another manager appeared with a better deal. 3 hours later, he escaped, missing his pool time and lunch plans. The suite felt less luxurious because it came with invisible strings. 24. Ignored resort fees and got shocked at checkout. Checkout jumped hundreds, and the receipt had fees he never noticed. In Honolulu, he booked a good-looking rate, focusing only on nightly price. The confirmation mentioned a resort fee, but it hid like fine print. At arrival, staff praised pool access, Wi-Fi, and gym towels. He barely used any of it, spending days walking Waikiki and eating. On the last day, the total ballooned, and he asked for an explanation. The clerk pointed to the posted policy, calm as a metronome. He argued quietly, then paid, because flights don't wait for debates. Later, he searched rates differently, treating resort fees like hidden potholes. 25. Booked a non-refundable rate for the wrong dates. The confirmation locked him in, and the calendar mistake became expensive. In Boston, he booked fast on his phone while walking to work. He meant March but tapped May, because the app scrolled unexpectedly. The rate looked cheap, labeled non-refundable, and he ignored the warning. 2 weeks later, he arrived, and the clerk said his stay was months away. He begged for flexibility, but corporate policy held firm like a locked door. He slept elsewhere, then watched the charge post anyway. Now he books on a laptop, double-checking dates like a pilot. 26. Forgot to take photos and lost the damage dispute. A surprise damage charge appeared, and he had no proof to fight it. In Toronto, he checked out quickly, leaving the room looking normal. Later, an email claimed a stained chair and a cracked lampshade. He knew he didn't do it, but memory is not evidence. If he had snapped exit photos, the timeline would be clear. They had pictures from housekeeping, but none showing who caused it. His credit card company asked for documentation, and he had only words. He paid, angry, and started photographing rooms like a cautious renter. 27. Parked in valet overnight and paid more than rent. One night of parking cost absurdly more than his week of groceries. At a Manhattan hotel, he handed keys to valet without asking the rate. The ticket printed tiny numbers, and he tossed it into his pocket. He asked for alternatives, but the car was already deep in the stack. He paid, wincing, then searched street rules like he was studying law. That parking slip stayed in his wallet, a reminder with no mercy. 28. Assumed late checkout was free and missed a flight. He missed his flight, and the airline change fee added insult. In San Diego, he asked about late checkout and heard a vague maybe. He decided to sleep in, packing slowly, enjoying the last ocean view. At noon, a knock came, and housekeeping waited with a cart. He begged for 30 minutes, but the room was needed for arrivals. He rushed, left items behind, then hit traffic on Interstate 5. At the airport, security lines stretched, and the boarding door closed. Back at the hotel, staff found his charger and mailed it days later. His free extra time became the most expensive nap of summer. 29. Left the car keys with the wrong valet stand. His card disappeared for an hour, and his heart raced the whole time. In downtown Chicago, 2 hotels shared a driveway with 2 valet kiosks. He handed his keys to the first uniform he saw, without checking logos. The attendant waved, parked it, and wrote the ticket under another property. At pickup, his ticket didn't match, and the kiosk shrugged helplessly. Managers from both hotels arrived, comparing logs like detectives at a chalkboard. They finally located the car in the wrong garage level, wedged behind SUVs. He watched the keys returned, trying not to sound angry in public. That night, he memorized which sign belonged to which entrance. 30. Put wet clothes in the safe and ruined everything. By morning, the safe smelled swampy, and his clothes were still wet. In Key West, he returned from the beach with drenched swim trunks. He didn't want them on furniture, so he stuffed them into the safe. He thought metal would contain moisture, like a cooler keeping ice. Instead, the sealed box trapped humidity, and mildew started working fast. When he opened it, a sour smell hit, and fabric felt slimy. Housekeeping offered extra hangers, but the damage was already baked in. He tried washing them in the sink, then learned mildew stains don't care. He left the safe door open after, like it needed fresh air. 31. Tossed a towel over the lamp and started a smolder. The room filled with acrid smoke, and the fire alarm ruined sleep. In Minneapolis winter, he tried drying a towel fast after a late shower. He draped it over a bedside lamp, thinking heat equals speed. The bulb got hotter than he expected, and the fabric began browning. He smelled it, ignored it, then saw a tiny orange glow. He yanked the towel off, dropping it onto carpet, which started smoking too. He stomped it out, then called the front desk, voice shaking. Maintenance checked wiring, photographed scorch marks, and warned about fire hazards. He slept with the window open, listening to sprinklers like they were loaded. 32. Tried to sneak in extra guests and got banned. Security showed up and his reservation was canceled on the spot. In Cancun, he booked a 2-person room, then invited 4 friends. They planned to rotate quietly, like musical chairs, slipping past the lobby. But the resort used wristbands, and staff noticed extra people immediately. One friend tried borrowing his band, and a guard stopped them at stairs. The manager arrived, polite but firm, explaining capacity rules and safety. They offered to add guests officially, but the price felt like punishment. He argued, got nowhere, and watched wristbands clipped like evidence. His friends ended up across town, and he spent the night alone. 33. Brought a pet into no pets policy and paid. The hotel spotted the dog, and the cleaning fee hit immediately. In Washington, D.C., she sneaked in a tiny terrier inside a tote. She thought small meant invisible, like hiding candy in a coat pocket. But elevators are echo chambers, and the dog barked at a rolling suitcase. A housekeeper heard it, then noticed fur on the chair when servicing. The manager called, explaining allergy concerns and special deep clean procedures. She apologized, but the policy was clear, and the fee stayed. They even blocked the room overnight, giving time for filters and deodorizing. Her dog got a late-night walk, while she reread pet-friendly listings.